Good evening. Patrick here from Eight Questions with Have Cheetah Will View. Welcome to another week of the show. It is still Creators Month here on the show, and we will be talking to three of our favorite YouTube creators. We'll also be doing a push tonight. Actually, this will actually be my first time actually pushing a guest while we're talking because our guest tonight is Mr. Dan and Horror, and he is sitting at 97 subs. So before the end of our interview, hopefully we will push him past that. Hopefully, hopefully that's the goal. That's the goal. So interesting week here in the chat. And the chatting in the community. It's been very interesting week. Um, Yeah, sheesh, I don't even know where to begin with some of it. Hey Patrick, how are you? Echoes in the house. Uh, yeah, it's been a weird week for sure. I don't even know what to say about it. Other than welcome to the show tonight, which is the only thing I really can do. All right. Uh, Hopefully some of you would have come out and to support Mr. Dan Horror. His channel is relatively new, but he's like I said, he's been a very active and very tremendous supporter of the local horror community, the local film community. He does Wild Eye reviews. He does cool. He's a huge Universal Monsters fan. Uh, all right, everybody's rolling in. There's Waffles. Hey Pat. Hey Michael. How are you? Hey, Playtendo guy, greetings. Wow, this is great. So Dan will be here with us in about 15 minutes or so. So we'll just talk till then. That's how we generally roll here on Eight Questions with. Um, yeah, I gotta I want to first of all I'd like to say thank you guys for a tremendous show on Sunday. Me and Al, we had a lot of fun talking about oh, you know what? You know what? Let me put that aside because I want to address that because it should be addressed. So there was a guy that used to roam around in our community named Matt Hart, and I guess he had a falling out with a lot of people. I met him when I first came onto the tube. I didn't know who he was at all. uh, I wasn't until after I became his friend that all of a sudden, lo and behold, I started hearing a lot of weird things. I mean, things like makes you not want to, you sort of want to unhitch that relationship before it goes anywhere. And so I did. I did. So so anyway, about I don't know 2 3 months later, 2 3 months ago, I wasn't even thinking about it because I had unfriended him like over a year ago. But all of a sudden he came back in, and we had talked, and I said, a lot of people have said that you're really inappropriate. So I really don't want anybody like that in my circle. And so I thought that was going to be it. I really did. I didn't expect to ever hear from this guy again. Well, 2 or 3 months ago, he sent me a friend request, and I did not recognize it. I admit it. I did not recognize his name. It's been a while. And, I was like, okay. So I sent him a friend, he sent me a friend request. I accepted it. But all of a sudden, then I realized who it was. And, I said, you came back. I'm like, why did you do that? He says, well, I've changed. I'm different. I've cleaned up my act. It's like, okay. All right. Well, I'm a believer in second chances. I'm not going to shut the door on somebody's nose, right off the bat. I'm going to, if he says he gave, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. So I did. Now he's actually not said anything to me since I accepted his friend request 2 3 months ago. I haven't talked to him. He hasn't talked to me at all. Well, all of a sudden, uh, one of my friends, if he wants his name to be said, he can say it. But all of a sudden, he pops up. He says, "Hey, do you know this guy named Matt Hart? I'm going, yeah, I know him. He's one of my, he's one of my guys on Facebook and but not Instagram, just Facebook. And I said, yeah. And I'm going, oh, he says something inappropriate. Well, yeah, yeah, he did. He came out and he's asking people for money to buy a car. He got a GoFundMe and he started asking money people off my friends list. Like Michael's on my friends list. He went to people on my friends. I'm not sure how many people have he's asked. So far, I've only had feedback from one person, but he came out and said, "Hey, this guy's hit me up for money. That's not cool," and it's not cool. I'm really sorry it happened. Um, and I just, as soon as he said that, I said, "Oh my God!" And I told him, I said, "Just go ahead and block him," and that's what I did too. So I'm not sure how many friends he got off my list because that's what some people do. They go to other people's pages and they'll send out friend requests off their page. So I'm not sure how many people that's happened to. But if someone asking you money for a car and they're on Facebook and that just say no. There's a time and a place for that, and for one thing, you don't even know who the hell you're asking. You're just asking, hey Al, you're just asking for the sake of asking, and that's not very nice. I mean, I've helped people before, but I mean, I've known those people, so I really apologize, though it had nothing to do with me, and nor was it my fault. But I do feel bad, and I'm really disappointed too because I did give this guy a second chance to, just be a normal guy, be a normal, just don't do anything weird. So I really am sorry about that. Even like I said, even though I had nothing to do with it, I hadn't even talked to the guy ever since he signed back up with me. So, but that's here, and that's what happened today. But yeah, yeah, it's sort of crazy. It's just a lot of weirdness this week in the community. I mean, we've had relative peace here. I mean, peace for a long time. And all of a sudden, it seems like just this last couple of weeks, the fur has started to hit the fan again. And it's just like, maybe it's a summertime thing, Hey, there he is. Jim is in the house. Let's give it up for our good friend Jim for Now It's Dark, our newest Dollar Tree theater critic. Awesome news. And he dropped his first one today. Hey, there's the Bud Files. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Yeah, so Now It's Dark is here. They are now in the Dollar Tree theater. I had to tell Hobbs. I had to tell him, like, we got a new one. And I knew that Jim would be perfect for Dollar Tree theater because he buys a lot of Dollar Tree movies. But our guest is here, so give it up for our new friend, Mr. Dan and Horn. Well, he's been an old friend, but maybe new to you.
Whoa, there we go.
Here we go. I almost feel like break it out, Once upon a time, not long ago.
Hey, I was listening a minute ago. I got a car for that guy. Here, send him one of these.
Yeah. All right.
I heard that part of that story. That sounded crazy.
Yeah, I feel really bad too because it's like it's like you like I like I said he slipped in the second time through. I didn't recognize the name. I didn't, and so I'm just sitting there. Okay, he says a horror guy, so I'm like, okay. And next thing you know, all of a sudden he starts talking to me, and I'm like, oh no. But I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
So he was really quiet. He didn't say anything at all to me, and then all of a sudden it's like, so do you know this guy? I'm like, I know of his name, but am I friends with the guy? No, not really. Well, he's asking people for money. Oh shit.
Yeah.
We're gonna do two things tonight. One, I'm going to ask everybody out in the chat to share us out. Please share us out as much as you can. Two, not only are we going to interview you, and we are, but two, we're going to do our level-headed best to get you to 100 by the end of the interview.
Yeah, thanks. I just saw,
So,
Echo Cero sub to me, so that's awesome.
so there you go.
Yeah.
Al's in the house. So is Mighty Casey. If you guys want to go ahead and grab Mr. Dan's, Casey's all over it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So we'll get you over 100. We'll just keep you talking until we get to 100.
All right.
All right. Now, I have not done one of those in forever. And I would sort of feel weird if I try to do that now without my co-pilot. There's Mr. Casey. Oh, yes, please drop Jim's link as well. Now, Stark, please drop his link too.
Yeah.
And congratulations again. Now, I think I can say it safely. I really am nervous because every time I've always said congratulations to Jim about passing a mark, it blows up in my face.
It goes back down?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I mean, I truly am. It's psychological now.
Yeah.
There's our guest for tomorrow, a real lady electrician, otherwise known as Crystal. She'll be here tomorrow at 1:30. And there's our newest ISC Midnight Night, Mary Wilson, in the house. And she just subbed to you. So there's that.
Oh, great. Great.
I bet Mr. Bones is in the house dropping your channel. I
Awesome.
bet you Crystal will go over there and probably sub to you as well. Okay, he's holding on so far. Don't jinx me. Damn, you know what? He's not kidding. He's not kidding. You know what? I think it's happened to him like 3 times where I mentioned it, and then it just hits. And I'm just not going to do it anymore. Not doing it. I think YouTube is eavesdropping on me.
Yeah. Well, I thought when I got close to 75, that seemed like a big hump. Like I was 75, 76, 74, 75, 74. And then I crept up, and then you put the thumbnail up for the interview. And I think that helped bump me up.
Push you over?
Yeah.
Well, here's another guy who's going to come over and sub to you right now. That's our good friend Tuber Chat, otherwise known as Kevin. I'm sure he'll come on over and sub to you as well. He knows he's the master of all YouTube. There's Jamie Hart. Welcome, Jamie.
Oh, hi, Jamie.
Let's see. Crystal's just saying she's hoping she's number 100. Okay, so remember, here's what we need to do. After you sub to Mr. Dan, please go over there and leave a good, meaningful comment and watch a couple of videos of 3 minutes or more, so it'll stick. Because we all know the first 100 is the hardest.
Yeah,
it is. It's a bear.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Tuber Chat is great. I have not taken advantage of that enough. I have to start tuning in to his streams. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin's he's been he's the guiding light for a lot of us. I mean, he's the one that got me, like he got me over the hump. We talk and he gives great advice, and he's very patient. He's very generous with his time. So yeah, he knows how it works. Yeah. And now we all do. That's why I said, leave a meaningful comment, watch a video more than 3 minutes or more, because that's what we're supposed to do, because we learned that from Kevin. Hey, Nelson Wu is here saying hi, Mr. Dan.
Wow, what a handsome kid that kid is. That's my son, Nelson.
Oh, all right. Welcome, Nelson. Jim is saying looks like Dan is at the 100 mark, but we need to get him over so it sticks. See, Jim is very wise. He's very, very wise. Oh God, come on, Bones, I'm trying. Okay, Bones is gonna do this again, and Casey will probably join him too. So you know what the stew train is, right? You know this.
Stew?
You know about the Scream 6 because you're in the.
Oh my gosh.
You're in the right. You know what I'm talking about. You're in the right streams.
Yeah.
Stew train.
I am not. I didn't even see the last one yet.
You haven't seen the last Scream yet?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of lackadaisical about Scream. I would watch it. I don't know.
You know what? It's like, yeah. Oh, great. Now Al's chipping in with the stew train. God, this, no, it's, let me ask you this as a horror fan, okay? What do you like better as a horror fan? Do you like to have zero information about a movie before you watch it, or would you want to hear every single possible detail, including a crew member, tying his shoe up and having that being an exclusive?
Yeah, no, I'd like to have like zero information. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
zero
just
information.
truly am sort of lost at that because I'm watching these guys, they're pounding at the dust,
Yeah,
constant streams, bold headlines. I'm going like, I feel sorry for them because I'm going like, you're doing this all now, and by the time the movie gets here, you're not going to be surprised at all.
right, right.
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah,
You already know everything that there is to know about it.
yeah,
You know how many times, how many takes it took for a character to walk through the door. You know how many takes it took for it because you've been talking about it for the last 6 months.
yeah. Or they'll say like, oh, somebody was on the set. They've already left. We have word that they've already left. So now we think their part's going to be really small, and they start getting nervous about it or something. It's
I truly, I mean, this is truly my first time of seeing a super fan. I have never met a super fan like this before, and I totally get it, but at the same time, it's like you're not going to have anything left.
right.
You're just not. You're going to get there. You're going to buy your ticket. You're going to go to the movie, and you're going to be sitting there going like, ugh. And everybody else is going to be around here going, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're going to be there because you've already pounded it to death."
Yeah.
A lot of trailers have come out, right? Most trailers now are like 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes long, right?
Right.
And trailers used to be 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like these studios are sort of shooting themselves in the foot too.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what? When they did on the Night Watch Zone, they did Race with the Devil. I actually went back and watched the trailer after I watched the movie again, and boy, they gave a lot away in that trailer, and that was in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's gotten worse, but it's not totally new. Yeah, I don't know why they do that. You know what a great trailer is? I love my favorite trailer of all time is for the movie Razorback.
Oh yeah,
it's a great trailer
great trailer.
Yeah, because there's a scene in there where he's in the desert and he hallucinates, and some of that is in the trailer. So you're watching the trailer going, wait, what's going on here? It really, you have no idea. I mean, you kind of know what it's about. It's about a giant pig,
right?
But there's some funky stuff in there in the trailer, and it doesn't really give anything away.
I wish more studios would do this to help disguise the movie. I wish they would shoot trailers with scenes not in the movie.
Right.
Because you're sitting there expecting one thing, and all of a sudden, like you're expecting to see a hockey mask killer. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm waiting for that, and there's none. It's totally different. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Well, we did that so you would be surprised. Right, so you wouldn't be expecting that. We want you to be surprised. Because another thing that's long gone too is the art of the synopsis. On the back of the cover of a movie, it has a little like what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. That has become a lost art.
Oh yeah.
Synopses are not nearly written as sharp as they used to be.
I know Al he just read one a couple weeks ago, and he was like, who writes these things? It was like it was a Dollar Tree movie. I actually just read one. I didn't read it, do a video of it, but they had a sentence where they made sure they told you that the scientist was a female scientist. It was like, is that really, do you have to put that in there? Is that necessary to tell me that it's a female scientist? So-and-so partners up with a female scientist. It was like,
yeah, we guess, well, now these days, they might not. They could be, they could be trans. They could be, they could be, they could be. I mean, And you know what? That isn't necessarily a bad thing either, because it's like, it's nice to see the twist, the different twists and turns, a lot of people say, well, it's woke. They're putting these characters in these movies because how what's wrong with having alternative characters inside of a movie?
Yeah, I think horror usually does a good job. Now, there was a recent film on
Sure.
Shudder. Somebody said that there was either a gay or a trans character that showed up for like 2 minutes, and there wasn't a point to it. And I forget what that was called. But if you look at like one of my favorite unknown horror movies, Mulberry Street, there's a guy who's waiting for, he's single dad. He's waiting for his dad to come home, for his daughter to come home from the Gulf War. And his next door neighbor, who's his best friend, is a gay guy. And it's almost like a byproduct of the movie. If it was a studio setting out to make a movie about just those two, it would be like over the top and in your face. But these two characters in this film, by the way, it's about rat people taking over part of New York City. Okay. But in a movie about rat people taking over New York City, they have one of the best gay characters I've ever seen in a movie.
Gloria's here. Hello, Gloria. How are you?
Oh, yeah. Bones loves Mulberry Street. Yep, that's right. Yep.
I used to see Mulberry. They used to play these on the Sci-Fi Channel back when Sci-Fi.
Oh.
Yeah, back when. They used to play those movies late at night, overnight, before they went to the commercials.
Yeah.
And I actually got one of those movies. They're like a Fangoria Past Midnight, or 8 Films to Die For.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I got one of those. I like collecting those too.
Mm-hmm.
I got a couple of those. One I got The Death of Ian Stone.
Okay.
And the other one was The Midnight Meat Train. You used to see
Midnight Meat Train. Yep.
Yeah, 2:00 in the morning, and they would roll those movies out.
Okay.
And yeah. Hopefully you're doing well, Gloria. See, I think Jennifer was saying had us dancing down the yellow brick road. Yes, right. chasing after Gilbert and Gilbert and who's the other nerd? Yeah, that's my pie. Dan Gable. Midnight Meat Train. Yeah, Midnight Meat Train. He used to play that at 2:00 in the morning on Sci-Fi Channel. All right, so let's get this going. So I don't have any preset questions. You've been in the chat long enough to know how we work.
Yeah.
So we'll just start off with the beginning. So where were you born and raised at?
Oh gosh. Well, okay. I was actually born in Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was who did you just interview? Was it? You just interviewed somebody who lived in Germany for a time.
Yeah, you're right. That would have been
Waffles.
Might have been Waffles. Yeah. Waffles.
Yeah. I think it
Waffles
was.
Yeah, Waffles he was bouncing around. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically my dad got drafted Vietnam War era. Everybody but like 4 people went to Vietnam. And he got sent to Germany, and that's where I was born. And then I came. His time was up when I was 8 months old. So obviously, I have no recollection of that. And then I think we lived in Pennsylvania for a little bit when I was a baby, and then we lived in New Jersey. I've lived in New Jersey ever since.
How do you like New Jersey?
Well, it's New Jersey. We have all the seasons. We can't pump our own gas. Taxes are pretty high, but there's some nice parts of New Jersey. Yeah.
I always thought New Jersey was pretty flat. I didn't realize that the further north you went that it got not hillish, but it got mountain. There's mountains in New Jersey.
Yeah. That like northwestern part. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what city do you live in New Jersey?
Yeah, I live in Morristown.
Okay.
So if it's basically right across the bridge from Philadelphia.
Oh wow! So you're the best of both worlds.
Yeah. So my daughter lives in Philadelphia. I go over there all the time. So my son is saying pork roll. That's right. We're known for our pork rolls.
That's right. So what was your introduction into books and reading and movies? I mean, how old
Yeah.
were you? What do you? It must be the Universal monsters I'm taking that you remember the
Well,
most.
that was part of it. I mean, to the extent that they were on. Basically, when I was a kid, like we had our regular channels, and that's it. We had the UHF channels, that
Right.
had monster movies on. Our The horror host that we had in the Philadelphia area was Dr. Shock. So I actually got a book, like his biography, which I eventually want to review on the channel. But I have fond memories of watching those. Pretty much like if I wasn't outside playing in the woods and making a mess and getting dirty. This is in a different town called Willingboro, by the way. I was watching TV, whether it was sitcoms or movies, pretty much whatever was on. So a lot of times on the weekends, it was, horror movies and like kung fu movies, pretty much.
I think the younger generation, they truly don't get that. Like when you and I were growing up, and there's some people in the chat can relate to this too. But we had the three main TV stations.
Mm-hmm.
ABC, NBC, CBS, and then we had locally owned independent stations, and they would just play all these old movies.
Yeah.
An older series. That's what they used to play.
Yeah.
They never played anything new. It was always, you come home at 12 midnight, and there'd be a movie from 1950 on. It's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
how
yeah. Yep. And,
does
they
it
had,
anymore.
they had packages that they bought too. So apparently, like, when the guy who was writing the Dr. Shock book was writing it, people would come up and say, "Oh, I remember I watched Curse of the Werewolf," and he was like, "Nope, you didn't, because they never had the rights to any Hammer movies. That must have been North Jersey or Central Jersey or something. But
Right.
the book is cool too, because I narrowed it down to. I have distinct memories of watching Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. I told the story to video. My dad was like, "We got to go get a haircut." And I was like, I had hours to go before it was on, but I was like, "I can't leave now. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster's on." And he's like, "Oh, we'll be back in plenty of time." And he even told the barber, like, "Hey, we got to hurry up. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster's on." And the barber laughed. So in the book, they tell you like week by week which movies he showed. So I
Right.
can pretty much pinpoint like what exact day that was, which is actually pretty cool.
I know that there's a Swinguli is on Me TV, and I know he does the same thing. They'll buy packages too,
Yeah.
or it's all public domain movies.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I know, like, I'm a big fan of Dr. Gangrene. He's out of Nashville area. He's on YouTube. Apparently he had a problem years ago where, everybody was crawling out of the woodwork and claiming the rights to these public domain movies, whether they had any rights to them or not. And it was just fouling things up. So there was a time when he was like showing, he would just show like episodes of One Step Beyond, which is definitely, everybody knows that's public domain. It kind of really tripped him up for a while there.
on Wikipedia, I noticed that someone has decided to like there is a organization now that they chart all these movies that are in the public domain, and now they list them. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you yeah now you can actually go see which movies are in public domain.
Yeah, yeah.
Because and some that don't, some actually do get bought out. Uh,
Hmm.
Jennifer saying Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, awesome movie. Yep.
Yeah,
Uh, Jim says he could never go back to just only the three network channels and then Fox, and yeah. Oh
yeah,
God, no, no. Oh, sometimes the independent stations were painful.
yeah.
They
We
were
had
just so painful.
yeah, we had 17, 29, and 48. Now when I got into high school on, I believe, 17, they had a hostess called, I believe her name was Stella, on Saturday nights. And locally, a lot of times she would beat Saturday Night Live. And even the station was like perplexed by it. Like, huh? I mean, she was attractive. She was kind of like a Rhonda Shear type, you know what I mean? She had
Right.
a good opening and but
Uh,
that was more like in the 80s. Yeah.
So, did you and your dad watch a lot of movies together? I mean, was that was that
Yeah.
where you first got your love for things? And he liked horror movies, I take it.
Well, he was more of a there was very few horror movies specifically that he liked. He was more of like a movie fan. Now hold on. One that he did see in the theater and that we watched was The Thing from Another World, the
Okay,
original. So I remember watching that with him at least twice. At least twice. And he explained to me who James Arness was, and all those details and everything. But he's
yeah,
not like,
he played the creature in that,
yeah.
and he also was in I do believe he was in Them too.
Oh, was he in that? Yeah.
I
Okay.
think he was.
Yeah. I mean, we would watch pretty, like I said, sometimes there wasn't a lot on. So we would watch like a movie like Them or something, or, uh, you know, whatever. I Married a Monster from Outer Space. But he wasn't, and my parents, they would suffer through my Godzilla movies, like, but he was more of like a movie fan. He was the kind of guy that have me watch like the Magnificent Seven with him. You know what I mean?
Right, right. If I watch Godzilla with you today, you got to
Right.
watch the Cowboy
Right.
with. That
Yeah.
was a fair trade.
Oh yeah, it was fair trade. I mean, I'm going through a list of those movies with my 18-year-old right now. We've been doing that for the last couple of years.
Wow, that's cool, man. See,
Yeah.
that's and then you get the you gain the love of movies, and not only the movies themselves, but the fact of the creativity behind it. Like how they do that, and
Yeah.
how do they make it work, and what do they use for effects? The curiosity.
Right.
That's
Hmm.
what's cool about a lot of the older movies is how do they do that?
Right. Yeah.
They didn't have what we have today,
Right.
so it makes you appreciate what they did a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Now,
even The Thing from Another World, obviously they couldn't go back to the source material. Here, wait a minute. Oh, the original book, Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, has a shape-shifting alien, but that was not an option in the 50s, really. So they went with James Arness in a suit. So I explained all that to my son. That's one I watched with my son. His comment at the end was, "Wow, you finally showed me a movie where not everybody dies."
oh, were you showing them '70s movies?
We watched. Well, I joked around with him. I was like, "We're gonna have a manly movie series." So we started with 13th Warrior, which I don't think enough people talk about.
That's a brilliant movie.
Great movie. And then we did Predator. Uh, and we did Alien. We did for I think last Christmas, not this Christmas, but the Christmas before, we actually watched Die Hard with Mom. Christmas movie, of course. So we
Yeah,
watched.
I'm with you
I watched
about.
Dirty Harry with him. So
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, I get Dirty Harry is an interesting. That's an interesting movie.
it
Uh,
is.
I watched The Exorcist with my mother.
Okay, wow.
I think she seriously. I think what she wanted to do, she wanted to see if I would get scared.
Oh,
She wanted to see if I would jump, and I'm just sitting there like, no, it didn't scare me at all.
mhm.
It made me sad because I was I thought Father Karras was awesome. I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
you're sitting there and you're like, damn, that guy, he died and he died really hard, but for all
Yeah,
the right reasons. But I was just like, and then of course, that's just it being the '70s, right? Uh, you know, I think the real task in watching the '70s movies is trying to find one with a happy ending.
right.
I mean, everybody died at the end of a '70s movie.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Mhm.
That's the most that is truly the most bleak period of movie making. The optimism for the world was at a probably. Well, I'm sure we'll probably be seeing it soon enough here, but I mean, at that time, it was probably the most pessimistic time in our
Right.
nation's history. I mean, it's like, yeah. So growing up, Universal Monsters, hanging out with your dad, um, did you read or write? Did
Oh
you do?
yeah.
Did you
No, I
draw?
read. I was reading. I was mostly into science fiction, so I read like all the Dune novels, Ray Bradbury. I read a lot of stuff that was over my head at the time. Like I would just plow through it. Like once I started something, I would finish it, whether it was a movie or book. Uh, Isaac Asimov. You know, I mentioned. I was watching a stream once, and Monty, the horror miser, mentioned these books that nobody talks about anymore, kind of like similar to Encyclopedia Brown,
Oh,
but,
yeah, I
but
love
it was yeah, those were great. Those were great. But it was Danny Dunn, like the boy detective, and a lot of those had like a sci-fi angle to them. Yeah, I ate all those up. And comic books. I was huge into comic books.
yeah, huge comic book. Me too. I was a big comic book guy. Um, let's see. They're mentioning some of the movies. See, Jennifer mentioned her son Casey threw out the stew train again.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's my. They're mentioning Creature from the Black Lagoon. This is my.
right. Yeah, I'm just. Let's see. And Hobbs says. Let's see. Hobbs thinks he's the only person in the community that doesn't read books. I don't know. I mean, I don't read enough. I read some, but I mean, right now I'm more into crime novels than I am the science fiction or
Okay.
horror.
Yeah. Yeah. I went through a true crime phase a while back. Yeah. I used to go to the library and I went through their whole true crime section.
Oh, yeah. I don't read so much to true crime. I find it a little bit down for me. But what I
Yeah.
do is I like going around. I like finding novels, and I always go there. And on Tuesday on the library, I always go and look for certain authors.
Okay.
And I'm always after the Preston Childs novels, so I'm always looking every week, and they're very popular. All of a sudden, it's like, wait a minute, they were popular last year. Why are they suddenly popular this year? But that's how it is, right?
Right.
Um, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
I need to get back to the library. I need to follow your lead and start going back to the library. Yeah.
oh, my library has struck out. I've struck out there 2 of the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Totally struck out. Nothing new has been on the shelf. And I've been hoping, and there are things on the shelf, but I don't want to pay the prices.
Oh, right,
So
right.
I'm just sitting there holding my breath and making it. Hopefully, they'll still be there for next bag sale, which starts next Monday. I'm hoping that happens because then I'll go get them for dirt cheap. But yeah, but the library, yeah, I mean a good, you go there and find some good, like sometimes my sister, who's a tremendous reader, she'll give me new names to read, and I'll go to the library and check them out, I used to go to Barnes and Noble all the time.
Yeah.
Did you have a local bookstore that you used to go to and hang out and just chill and read?
Bookstore. Well, comic book store. There was one in the Burlington Center, which is, I think, now like a defunct mall. I even saw a video of some guy exploring around in there. But they had a store called Heroes World. That was the big comic book store. And then when I was in high school, there was a tiny, tiny little bookstore that this woman owned, and she would order things for you if you asked her. So I ordered the whole set of the original Conan books
Nice.
by Robert E. Howard and all the other authors that filled in the gaps.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think many people know how the person who created such a muscular hero. I don't think people really realize how he passed away.
Yes. I've never seen the movie about him, the one with Reese Witherspoon and Vincent D'Onofrio. I can't bring myself to watch it. I know it's going to be kind of sad, but
right.
Yeah. But he also wrote a story called Pigeons from Hell, which is like a Southern Gothic horror story, and it's one of Stephen King's favorite short stories. And they did make it into an episode of Boris Karloff's Thriller. It's really good.
That's right. Yeah, he did. Boris Karloff did an anthology show, didn't he?
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
There's some really good ones. Yeah.
Did they ever get home released? I've never seen it out in a while.
I don't know. I don't know about physical copies. I'm not sure. Actually, I think Dr. Gangrene said he's made some videos where he shows off his collection. I think he might have some Thriller DVDs. I think it might be on DVD.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hobbs was wondering about his reading his Playboy count.
Sure.
He's only owned one Playboy. I can't imagine. Probably the Halloween one, the October issue.
Right. Yeah.
Of course.
But I tell you, short stories for me lately, with everything that's going on in like my attention span, I've been doing a lot better reading short stories. Like recently gone back and read some Richard Matheson stories.
Brilliant.
The story that Duel is based on, I read that, and also the one that the Zuni fetish story from Amelia from Trilogy of Terror. I read that story. Yeah,
That's a scary movie.
it's scary.
That story was scary as hell.
I almost ordered that DVD, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it because the movie's pretty good overall, but the cover, it was the last scene with Karen Black.
Right.
She's waiting for her mom, and she's got the teeth.
Yeah.
That's on the cover.
Oh, they ruined it.
Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
But I was thinking, like, maybe I can just find a poster of that. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah, well, that's a shame they did that. No, don't show the ending.
Yeah, that would be a good put something else in the cover, and then you can have that be one of the reversible covers if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Boris Karloff had a comic series back in the day as well.
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh man, Carlos Borloff died a hard death.
Yeah,
he died terribly.
Yeah, there's a really long interview with Christopher Lee on YouTube where he talks about Boris Karloff, and he would appear in movies with Boris Karloff. He would look at the script and go, "This is terrible," but if Boris was in it, he would basically be in the movie just to spend time with Boris.
Right.
And he talked about he mentions how a lot of people don't know how much pain he was in and how brave he was. Because towards the end he couldn't really stand up too well.
No, he had. Well, because back then he smoked when people thought smoking was okay.
Yeah.
And he smoked so heavy. When he finally got cancer, they basically took out 1.5 lungs.
Yeah.
And when he died, he only had 30%. He had one lung left. He only had 30% oxygen in it. That would be like constant drowning. I felt really bad hearing about that.
Yeah.
But I love Boris Karloff. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, it's also kind of messed up that I always thought, and I swear this is like my own Mandela effect. I swear that I read that he was 6'4" and Bela Lugosi was 5'9", but it's the other way around. He was not that tall. Yeah, he was not that tall.
I guess do you think they just framed him that way? Yeah, I have to go back because I got a copy of The Black Cat.
Yeah,
and in that he does look really imposing, and Bela Lugosi looks really small.
Yeah, and even in the old Dark House, he looks very imposing. But I know he had some back problems. I think it's in I forget which sequel it is. But back then they would just ask anything of you. He had to carry somebody upstairs. He's wearing those giant platform shoes, and apparently he kind of messed his back up. Yeah,
the studio system. What was your favorite movie growing up? I mean, what was the one movie that really stuck with you, and when you got it for your collection?
Yeah. I mean, the original Godzilla was a big one. I would say Jason and the Argonauts was another one.
Yeah.
All those stop motion films.
Ray Harryhausen.
Ray Harryhausen, yeah. And I even have I was young, but I know I saw one of those Sinbad movies in the theater with my dad. Yeah, I begged him to take me. But that was early or mid 70s. Those weren't as good as Jason and the Argonauts, but I watched anything like that. I watched the original King Kong. The original Fly was on a lot. I would watch that.
The original Fly is spooky as hell.
Yeah, I just rewatched it. I got this. Everybody seems to have this box set, and I found it. It was pretty. I was surprised how cheap it was. It was not expensive, and it was a good deal for me because I didn't remember the sequels to the original at all, and I had never seen The Fly 2. And it worked out perfectly because they talked about it on Night Watch Zone. So I said, all right, now's finally the time to watch The Fly 2. But I was surprised at how well the original film pulled me back in after all these years.
Yeah. The original was, hey, Phil, how are you? Phil's Creepy Vids.
Hey, Phil. Clash of the Titans, Jennifer. Yes, Clash of the Titans. That was man, I wanted to see that in the theater so bad. And I didn't quite make it. I had to wait till it was on cable. Yeah.
Okay, Jennifer is letting us know how much she loves cats. Thank you, Jennifer. They love you too. And you don't see anybody doing helicopter dogs. Do you ever look at some of the reels on Instagram?
Oh yeah.
They had this one trend now where they have a helicopter taking off, and it's people that you hear the helicopter noise, and all of a sudden there's people with their cats and they're making their cats like a helicopter.
Oh my God.
It's hilarious. This is like,
yeah.
I can't do that to him because he kicked my ass. So
Right.
I showed it to him once, and he showed me his claw, and I was like,
Right.
okay, I get it. What was the first movie that you what was your first? Who was your first big, like as far as hero or crush when growing up? I mean, TV star, was it a movie star, TV star? Who was your favorite actor?
Yeah. I tease. We have like a running joke on Night Watch Zone about a lot of the brunettes that I used to like. Like speaking of Fly Too, like Daphne Zuniga. That was kind of later. Brooke Adams, I thought she was great in eventually The Dead Zone, but even before that, she was in Shockwaves with Peter Cushing.
Right.
And John Carradine is in it too. It's not the greatest movie ever, but it's kind of weird and atmospheric, and it was kind of a fun thing to be watching on a Saturday afternoon for sure. And then I remember seeing the ads for Conan the Barbarian. And boy, we were so excited for that in the neighborhood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Except we like when we read the comics, we called him Conan. We had no idea. So the first time we heard that, we were like laughing about it. Like, what?
What did they say? Who's that? Who's this Conan?
Who's that? I didn't know.
Okay, yeah, I get. Yeah, I remember seeing that too. That was a fun movie.
Yeah.
That was that's such a that movie really does hold up today. So much fun.
Yeah, because I was reading comic books, and all of a sudden here's a guy, and the way they marketed it, they were saying like 10 days until Conan. The next day you would see a little ad, 9 days.
Right. Yeah, I remember you do that.
And they would show him swinging the sword, and I was like, my God, that guy is huge. Like, I didn't know that was like a real thing, that people can be that big.
Yeah, that's right, man. That back in the 80s, the guys in the chat in the late 70s, what they used to do for marketing is they used to have that. They used to do that. They used to have the commercials come on there, and it'd be like quick 30 seconds, in 9 days, Conan comes through the screen, and it was just building up. And every time you saw it was like sometimes a new little clip, sometimes it wasn't, sometimes it was an older clip. But they had that countdown going, and boy, by the time that movie was there, people were just sitting there going like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to go see Conan."
Oh yeah.
Hi, Star-Lord, Rick. Yeah. Oh man, that's it. Those are good times. Now, did you watch any horror in the 70s as you were growing up?
Oh yeah. I mean, if I can like get away with it, I watched it. I mean, and it was surprising back then what came on in the afternoon, and I mentioned this on the channel a couple of times. I saw one of the first movies that like really kind of scared me. I mean, there were some movies that gave me a little bit of queasiness here and there. Like when I was younger, like the Flesh Eaters. There's a scene where a scientist feeds the little flesh eaters to a guy.
Right.
And, when you're a kid, you eat all kinds of things and you get stomach aches. So that really bugged me. This guy getting eaten away from the inside. But at the end of that movie, they do a goofy thing where the monster becomes like giant. And even at the time, watching that as a kid, I was like, that's the worst special effects I've ever seen. So that one didn't really stick with me. But then I saw Tourist Trap on like a Saturday afternoon. And I don't think anything was cut from that. I think the version of Tourist Trap I saw was the same version. I mean, I remember the guy getting impaled with the pipe. And I remember the one suffocation death, and that was like another fear I had when I was a kid.
Right.
So you have a guy like he's got a woman tied down, and he's like putting plaster over her mouth and nose.
That was actually the very first movie I saw on cable TV.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Tourist Trap. Very first movie.
That was one of the first ones that it occurred to me to look for on YouTube to rewatch. So I was like, when I found it, I was like, oh my gosh, this movie. Since I've seen it like 3 or 4 times since then. But
I
man,
was
yeah,
surprised when I was watching it because, especially you come back later on, you watch it and you're going like, and all of a sudden you see Chuck Connors and you're going like, well, that's Chuck Connors. It's like that's the Rifleman, and you didn't
mhm.
know that a lot of those 70 actors, they had really good horror careers.
Yeah,
They like Chuck Connors. He did a lot of horror toward the end of his career.
yeah. Well,
A
my
lot of people,
understanding was that he embraced it and he wanted to become, before people started talking, before Robert Englund was like a household name to some people at least. He wanted to become like a horror icon, almost like before it even became a thing. And I mean, he was partially successful. I think he was in a few other horror movies, but
yeah, he did a series on Fox. I think it was one of Fox Networks. It was one of their very first series they put out. Of course, they hooked it right away.
yeah.
I think it was called something Lake or something like that. It was Chuck Connors. He played a vampire
Oh,
or
okay.
a werewolf or something like that. It
Yeah.
wasn't on for very long, but it was like Chuck Connors as you've never seen him before, and it's like, okay, well we saw him in Tourist Trap,
Yeah,
so
right.
yeah,
He was
but
pretty darn
it
creepy in that. Sure. Yeah.
was really creepy in that. Jennifer saying she saw Sinbad and the Seven Seas with Lou Ferrigno.
Oh,
Whoa,
yeah.
how about Lou Ferrigno's Hercules?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I, I even when we were kids, I don't think we were tempted to see those. I don't know. We were just like,
I saw it. I saw it for two reasons. Sybil Danny.
oh, okay. Yeah.
She was in the movie, and I love Sybil Danny, so I went and saw that movie. Oh my stars, that movie was awful. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a nonstop laugh fest. I mean,
Yeah.
even sitting in there watching it, and they're doing all the effects and everything else. And I watched this. I think Canon released it, and they had an interview about Canon movies, and they interviewed the director of that movie, and he was actually standing up for it. He was sitting there going, "I thought we did a really good job. That was a really good movie." I'm going like, "What movie did you not see? Because it's not the one you're talking about." Because
Well, it was Italian, right?
yeah,
Well, I've noticed some of those Italian directors who direct like 100 movies with 20 different aliases, they'll get defensive. They're like the guy that directed Troll 2. They made a whole documentary about it and they brought him in, and everybody was joking about it, and he comes in and he starts getting like serious, and he's like, it was a good movie.
yeah.
And he's
He
like,
was-
I directed this film in the style of John Ford. I was like, what?
you mean Ford Pinto, right?
Right,
Pinto.
yeah, Ford Pinto. It ran out of gas. I mean, John
or
Ford
got or
never,
got rear-ended.
right. I mean, John Ford was John Ford. He didn't feel like he had to have 25 different aliases, like.
Right, right. Oh my gosh, yeah. When he sat there and he said that Hercules movie was really good. I was just like, I had to go back to replay that just to hear like, did he actually say that? Because what movie is he watching? Because it must
Mhm.
be the same one we did. I
Yeah.
mean, the theater was already there crying before the opening credits ran. Um, have you ever seen a movie that's been so bad that you just walked out?
I don't know if I've ever walked out of a movie in the theater. I don't think so. I don't think so.
How about at home? There's some people that will put a movie in and they'll watch it to the bitter end. Are
Yeah.
you like one of those, or are you like, oh hell no, and out after 10 minutes?
I used to be, but anymore, like I'll turn something off. I mean, you know, yeah, I'll turn it off. And the thing is, like, I mean, look, I've enjoyed Wild Eye Week. Some of them are really good. Some of them are not great. And the same thing with Dollar Tree Theater. I
Well,
grabbed a couple random ones to review. So a couple weeks ago, I was like, I need to see something good. I really need to watch like a mainstream movie. And I had just gotten Dr. Sleep from Walmart for $5. So I watched that. But I had to
well,
go with something I thought was going to be good and mainstream.
okay. I must say that my I don't know about all these other guys out here, these Dollar Tree theater guys. all I can tell you right now is that my playlist is fire. Fire. Okay. Nobody has reviewed Garfield twice.
Twice. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Garfield and Garfield Tales. No one has even dared to attempt that one.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I see Garfield at the Dollar Tree theater, at Dollar Tree, I'll pick it up. Maybe I'll watch it with my granddaughter. So
It's pretty cute. The,
yeah.
the first one's really cute. The second one, they needed more John and Liz, but it's very cute. I had a ball with it. I thought it was funny as hell.
Yeah.
They're not for well, yes, but they're I got my Garfields from the library, but I paid $1 a piece for them.
Oh, okay.
So that's Dollar Tree Theater.
Yeah.
Anything $1.25 and under, Dollar Tree Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Tony says, Tony, what a nice guy that guy is, huh?
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a really nice guy.
Really nice guy. He calls it the $1.25 store. I'm like, that's not right.
Like, every single time he says it now.
Yeah. I head on over to the $1.25 store.
Right.
Right. See it now. Now see Echo saying he would review the old Garfield cartoons, but never the live action movies. I couldn't stomach the first one the last time I saw it. Well, hopefully your palate will have matured now, Echo, for you to be able to handle fine entertainment like the two Garfield movies.
Right.
I mean, this is a guy that, let's put it this way, Echo, it's better than Blood Claws. How did you decide to start your channel?
Oh, okay. So I have another channel. It's about Hot Wheels cars, mostly die-cast cars.
Right.
Kind of, I started that with my son. He's 18 now. He's, a little bit older now, so we haven't been doing that as much. Now you mentioned today we both left a comment on basic Autumn Ween Queen. Somebody said, "Why are you only reviewing black horror films?" Which actually wasn't true, because she has reviewed movies like The Beast Must Die.
The Beast Inside.
The Beast Within. And she's I don't know. She grew up watching TV in the 70s, so right away I was like, this is a channel for me. And it's interesting because it was a list of black horror films on the Real Queen of Horror channel that got me into the smaller community. I mean, she's a little bit bigger. She's got like 5,000 subs. But she had a list of films, and I was familiar with a few of them, but I said, well, that was pretty interesting. One of the ones she reviewed real quick was The House on Skull Mountain. And she seemed to give it like a pretty good review. So I said, I wonder if anyone else has reviewed that movie. So I was actually on my big TV downstairs. I painstakingly took my remote and typed in like House of Skull Mountain review. And up came Lady Shasha from the What Did I Just Watch channel. So I watched her review of it. She did like a double review with that and The Beast Must Die. And she was pretty rough on it.
I want to get that movie so bad. The Beast Must Die. I got to get that.
Yeah.
That's my main man, Calvin Lockhart. That guy.
Isn't he good in that movie?
He's brilliant, period.
He's so good in that movie.
He should have been a star.
Yeah. I mean, you got like Peter Cushing. He's like kind of in the background, but yeah.
Calvin Lockhart, he should have been the Denzel or the Wesley Snipes, or he should have been that big. Yeah. He was so charismatic.
Yeah. He carries that movie. I mean, that and that's one I actually remember watching with my dad, or maybe we weren't. It was on at least. And when it came to the werewolf break, I just looked at him like, "What is this?" And we both started laughing. I remember that. When they say, it's werewolf time, can you guess who the werewolf is? But anyway, so I started to watch, I looked at her channel, and she had done some live streams with both Prim from the Let's Chop It Up channel, and also with Night from Night Watch Zone. So that's how I found Night Watch Zone.
Okay.
And then actually I went on the Let's Chop It Up channel a few times for he used to do like Sunday afternoon live streams. And Night was on there once or twice with me. Lady Shasha was on there once. I actually had my son on one time, and we talked about anime.
Nice.
And, yeah. Well, actually, Prim set up the questions, and Knight and I pretty much just sat there and listened to them two talk about anime.
Really? I actually thought Knight would. His brother Killian. He's the
Yeah, I
anime.
think it's I know Killian's really into it. But I mean, they were talking about like more recent shows and things, and my son was just, he's actually in the anime club in his high school.
Yeah, sometimes I'll go inside Nike streams when they're doing that, and I'll just type this in just once in a great while. I'll type it in, going like, "Neon Tokyo is about to explode."
Right?
It's the tagline to Akira.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
he has on the back of his wallet. I keep once in a while I'll just type that in there. I keep on waiting for him to see that and recognize what I'm doing. Like,
yeah,
oh shit, that's from Akira. He's never caught it yet.
yeah. I have the same poster that Killian has. Yeah, the same Akira poster. Yeah.
Akira still to me, I think 40. I think that movie's like 40 years old or 35 years old or whatever. Still top of the food chain.
Oh yeah,
anime.
That's that and the original Ghost in the Shell is one of my favorite ones too.
See, Mr. Bone says Pat will sign. Will you sign my Blood Claws DVD if I grab one? Yes, I will. I will, Mr. Bones. If you actually buy that from a Hamilton book for $12.70, I will sign it. Let's see. Echo says he still has a few Hot Wheels cars. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Al saying we should do a mass viewing of Blood Claws with everyone. Why do you hate us so much, Al? Why do you hate us? See, Casey saying Akira's awesome. Al says if you get about 4 cases of beer and about 10 whiskeys, he'd do it.
Yeah. I had I was buying a lot of the Star Wars cars, but I'm actually haven't really kept up on the movies, so I'm not really. I kind of got out of buying cars for characters that I don't even know about. But the funny thing is, it was actually the Universal Monsters that actually got me back into collecting Hot Wheels. Because they came out with a set that was advertised in my local circular for ShopRite, which is our grocery store.
Okay.
They had all like 5 cars or 6 cars. And I was like, wow. I was like, I got to go get those. And those.
How many cars do you have in your collection?
I don't know. I got a couple thousand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've really tapered off here. For the year in 2015, I just decided I was going to get like every car that came out that year, all the main ones, which is usually 250 that they come out with every year.
Okay.
So I hunted them all down, all 250.
Wow.
Yeah.
They're still. I mean, you know what? I know. I see them now. I see them now over at the $1.25 store.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you hunt for them there too?
Yeah, sometimes. Yep, sometimes you can find some good ones there. And actually, the track that they have there, they have 2 long pieces of track you can get for like $1.25. That's the best deal going on track anywhere, because you can get 3 short ones at Target for $2.99, or you can get 4-footed track for $1.25. That's the best deal on track.
Have you ever watched do you ever watch the car restorer ones? Like there's this guy in Australia named Marty. There's Marty's Matchbox Makeovers, and he will take these cars that have been look like they've just been. I mean, they've been played hard and put away wet.
Yeah.
And he restores them.
Yeah, I've watched. I used to watch a lot of the Hot Wheels channels, including guys that did like custom jobs and restored cars. Some of those guys are amazing.
Now, was this something that also you started with your father?
No, not really. I mean, I had plenty of Hot Wheels when I was a kid and Matchbox cars, but none of them survived childhood. Sadly, I wish I had some of those original ones. That would be great. But it's just something and my older son and I collect. We used to buy like some play sets and track sets, but I didn't hunt down the cars with him. It was with my son Harry that we kind of got back into it together.
Nice.
And then it got kind of out of control.
What was the first movie you ever bought for as far as your collection goes? Do you remember the first movie that you bought for yourself?
Wow, the first movie that I bought. Wow. It might have been. Let's see. What do I have it?
Yeah, Nelson, I agree.
Shane, what? I know.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
when we were kids back then, though, that's what we did. We played Matchbox.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I truly, we used to go out to our front yard, sit down, and play Matchbox for a whole afternoon.
Oh
I
yeah.
can't remember seeing any kid playing Matchbox cars or Hot Wheels out in their yard. I cannot even begin to tell you.
Yeah.
Growing up, you'd be like there's like 3 or 4 yards, and they all be playing Hot Wheels, and you all go over there and try to trade or see which car was the best and stuff like that. But yeah, you don't see that very often. It's almost like Halloween in a sense. Like Halloween was for kids, but somehow along the way it's evolved to where it's an adult holiday.
Right.
It's more adults celebrate it than kids do, and I think it's like that for cars. It's like now it's more for adults than there's kids, because kids do video games. We do the cars.
Yeah. And I hate to say it, but to a degree, adults haven't ruined the hobby. But I've gone into plenty of stores where the car section is tornadoed. Somebody just went through it, got what they wanted, and left it a mess. And that's not kids that do that. That's actually adults.
Yeah,
I've
seen that.
Yeah,
that really sucks.
Yeah, what happened is a couple years ago, when YouTube was kind of in its infancy, people started to make YouTube videos about the special desirable cars. So then it became more well known. So then you had like a whole bunch of scalpers who would just go look for those cars. And sometimes they even have like a hookup with someone in the store.
Right.
Some of those special cars will never make it to the pegs. In some stores. Yeah.
It's like that for the movie. In the movie,
it's kind of like that for movies.
For movies and figures. People, the resellers. I saw one guy. He went to his Target, and he was going to go ahead, and I think he was buying like 2 figures, and that was the limit. They were just going to limit him to 2 figures. He's like, "Well, I wanted to buy a little bit more than that." He goes, "Well, we can't."
Yeah.
And he was really upset. It's like, I don't know why they want to sell. Won't let me. Buy the 5.
Right.
And he didn't realize that. Yes, he's there. He's yelling at them for not selling him more than 2, right? But he's one person doing that. It's a lot worse. All they're trying to do is preserve stock, because all the resellers come in and buy everything. And then you got like 30 people wondering, why didn't you limit it to 2?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
To give us a chance. So they're just trying to take the lesser of 2 evils. They're still gonna get kicked either way.
Yeah.
So
sometimes I feel sorry for people that work in the stores, because I do too. You got people bugging them. Do you have anything in the back? And it's just
I wanted to talk about that, that little incident today on Halloween Queen's channel, because I saw that too, Dan, and I really thought that was really cool. You coming up there and leaving your comment.
Yeah.
That was it's not the first thing. Actually, it's not the first time I've seen it this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's I saw it on another channel. About the originality. Now, I haven't heard anybody come up. No one's ever come up to me. No one. I've never heard anybody. This is the first time I ever heard this from anybody. But someone coming up to somebody and saying, "Why are you just reviewing just that type of movie?"
Right.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, wow, that's really, like. Why are you just covering, like for her, she was doing black horror, and somebody actually had the nerve to go up there and say, why don't you do other horror other than just black horror?
Yeah. And not only that, they didn't really look and see what she had reviewed. She's done other films, and I think she said she was planning on doing The Car at some point, if you went back and watched some of her videos.
What if she didn't?
Yeah, right.
Like who cares? What if she didn't? What if she just wants to just strictly do all black horror?
Yeah, and like the thing is, like I've found out about some really cool movies from even Real Queen of Horror. You know, she's got a big channel, but I forget if it was Instagram or YouTube. She was talking about some movies, and I said something about, oh, I never seen JD's Revenge, and she said, you got to watch it.
Oh, we'll settle this on the killing floor.
Yeah. So I watched it on this. I watched it, the whole thing. And
Yeah,
like 2.5 hours later, I wrote back. I was like, "Yep, you're right. That was really good." You know,
that was yeah. That's right. I know about JD's Revenge.
Oh man, I was. You know what's interesting too is a lot of the movies from the 70s, like Blackula, JD's Revenge. Pretty much at heart, they're pretty solid horror movies.
Oh, they are.
You know what I mean? It's not like, yeah.
My friend Chris Alexander, he used to be a former editor at Fangoria. He ran Fangoria for many years.
Oh,
he wrote a really nice article about Blackula, Blackula Scream.
Mm-hmm.
He said that movie was better than like 95% of all. If he was going to put his top 5% of all vampire movies, Blackula Scream would be in the top 5.
Yeah.
That's how good it was.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about William Marshall, man? That guy had like a magnetic presence about him.
Yeah, like Calvin Lockhart.
Yeah, I even went back and watched the original Star Trek episode that he was in a while ago.
Oh, when he played Daystrom?
When he plays the scientist, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
great actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Great actor.
Al saying he loves black exploitation horror. I love black exploitation, period. Yeah. I told her that it's funny because I'm hearing people come up to her and sit there and say, well, why don't you review something else? I'm going like, why don't you review more black exploitation or black horror? If you're so concerned about it, why don't you go investigate it? Because I love it. My buddy, and rest his soul, because he's gone now. My best friend Catfish and I, man, we used to go over to his house. Like we used to go to each other's house. We watch movies, and what we try to do is we try to get the other guy to buy the movie that we presented.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. So I'd be sitting over there going like, yeah, let me throw this on here. So I'd be throwing on, and he was my friend. He was black, and he would introduce me. Like he introduced me to JD's Revenge. Okay. And more Jim Kelly movies. I knew about Jim Kelly, a couple of his movies, but not all of them. He introduced me more, and it was awesome. I was so hooked. He bought me Blackenstein.
Okay.
Which I reviewed. That was not that good.
That's not the greatest one.
No, not the greatest one. But I mean, I'm still looking for Kill the Beast. I want to get that so bad.
Kill the Beast.
I'm gonna have to track that down.
Okay.
See, look at and now they're talking about it. Hey, Cass, Hey, Cass Love, how are you?
Yeah, Cooley High. Al says Cooley High. Yeah, that was a great one to watch on TV when I was a kid.
So, Coffee with Pam Grier.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yep. Mario Van Peebles. Sweet back song. I just think the fact that someone actually would have the balls to walk up to somebody and try to dictate what they do on their channel.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? I mean, how would you respond if someone came up there and says, "Hey, why don't you review, instead of reviewing Wild Eye, why don't you review, Uncorked instead?"
Well,
Yeah.
Now I know some larger channels have had people say things to them like, "Oh, you're not a real horror fan unless you like these extreme horror movies." Like I forget. I think it might be like Spooky Astronauts. I think she did a video and she's like she defended herself and said, I don't like those movies. I don't like extreme horror movies.
Mm-mm.
So I don't have to like them. I can like what.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean, and that includes cratering a movie that you supposedly really want to see.
Right.
If you feel like you really want to go out there and destroy it, then you're free to do that. You're free to, no one's going to stop you. And I'd be the first one to tell people to leave you alone for doing it.
Right.
I may not agree with it. I mean, like I said, I feel for I always disagree for the person himself, for the fan, because it's obviously there's some people that are super fans, and it's like, and when they do that to themselves, like, we got latest news about what size sneakers that Hayden Panettiere wears.
Right.
We're gonna do a live stream for 4 hours on it. I just feel really bad because it's like, that's a little extreme. You don't want to. You want to have some joy left for this movie when it comes out.
Right.
But as far as dictating, like telling Mr. Bones, all right, Mr. Bones, you gotta review all of Dustin Ferguson's movies. It's like, who am I to tell him what he wants to cover? I just found that really appalling. And yeah, fanboy, yep. Has anybody in the chat? I'm going to ask this in the chat. We'll open this up for the chat too. Me and Mr. Dan here, we want to know: has anybody ever come to you and questioned the content of your channel? Let's see.
I see SL7 says Heartbreak Ridge and Solo. Yeah, some good Mario Van Peebles movies.
Yeah. And Posse.
Posse. I got that. I haven't watched it yet.
South Bronx Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
The king of that movie's on every freaking multi-pack ever made.
Oh, really?
Oh God, I think it's Night of the Living Dead and South Bronx Heroes.
Oh gosh, yeah, Night of the Living Dead. I own that 3 times over, and it's always it's. I got a copy of Night of the Living Dead. I bought some spooky Halloween noises, a CD, and as an extra, they included a movie, Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. That movie, you know what? It's if George A. Romero would actually got the money he deserved, or he'd been a billionaire 10 times over. Let's see. Sean's mentioning Jaws 4's Rise of the Joglins.
Oh my God.
I think that would be Jaws 6, because I think they did Jaws the Revenge. That would be Jaws 4, and then I think some Italian guy did Jaws 5. So that one there, Joglins, would be Jaws 6. See, Rick says, yeah, he says he gets high and watches extreme filth.
Okay.
Yeah, we all got a movie to watch. It's gonna be my first extreme film from Unearthed Films. I've never watched a movie from them before, and so we some of us got sent a movie, so I'm gonna be reviewing it. And I'm just thinking, this will be my first time. This is the type of movie I could get at Rick's business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go, Echo. Cruel Jaws 5.
Yeah, that's weird. Hobbs says people want him to do mukbangs. That's kind of strange.
Wow. Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. That's just weird, though. I guess the other thing I was going to ask you about, what are your favorite channels? What channels do you like that you really look forward to seeing? And have they influenced what you put on your channel?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. Yeah, oh, definitely. I mean, listen, I've watched whole Night Watch Zone streams, like the Race with the Devil. Like, for example, I made a video, like a quick review of Race with the Devil, basically just because they just talked about it on the Night Watch Zone, So, yeah, I think I've obviously Dollar Tree. I didn't know what Wild Eye was when I started my channel. I had no idea. So I've been definitely influenced by a lot of guys on YouTube. But I'll tell you, I'm still a huge fan right from the beginning of Lady Shasha. What did I just watch? She's like an historian. She did a video about the first Black science fiction film. And I think it's called Son of Inagi or something like that. Let me tell you something, that you could transcribe that video and that you have an essay that can go in any film magazine. It was that good, She's very knowledgeable. I
caught a review like that a couple of weeks ago by Kevin from Haunted by Horror.
Okay.
He did a review of Candyman, the first Candyman. Yeah, I just sitting there going that's what I aspire to be. I want to be like him. I mean, he's that good. He was that. I just sat there and just watched his review, and it's so well thought out and so well done. I'm going that's professional grade right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he could write that down, and that would go into any magazine that I know of.
Right. Yeah, I want to eventually sort of graduate to writing some sort of scripts and not making them so off the cuff. but event, when I can find the time to do that. But yeah, I mean, I've discovered, Curly Girl, she's great. B Movie Badness, Nye, she's fantastic. Of course, the Coast to Coast guys, I discovered them somewhat early. Those guys are all great. And on Friday nights, the Slasher Movie Club, those three guys they're fantastic. We think a lot alike. I don't have anything like the physical collection they have. Those guys are.
how many films do you have in your collection?
Oh, I don't know. Probably, I would say maybe about 100.
Okay.
Not that many. I mean, we used to have tons of VHS, and actually, I did find this might be the first one I bought. Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Oh, nice. That's a good one. Wow.
Still in the plastic. And then I had my other prize VHS. I lost it. It was a 15th anniversary special edition of Blade Runner.
Nice.
Yeah, I lost that one, unfortunately. But we used to have tons of VHS.
I was looking at the Wrath of Khan in there while that's so cool.
Yeah.
Fun movie.
Oh, yeah.
What else do you like to watch besides just horror? I mean, I know you just can't be just a horror fan.
No, I like, that's why I was so excited. I got to find that one Russell Crowe movie at the dollar store, Heaven's Burning, because I remember the trailer, but I had never seen it. So that was a great find. Murphy's Law from Charles Bronson, that was a great find. About 6 months ago, probably longer, they put a bunch of Charles Bronson movies on YouTube. So in one weekend, I watched Mr. Majestic and the one with Jan Michael Vincent, The Mechanic, and Breakheart Pass. I had never seen any of them, and I watched them all in one weekend. So
man, that was I used to read Alistair MacLean like it was the water.
Oh, really?
I was a big Alistair MacLean fan.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Clint Eastwood, Charles Bronson. As far as Westerns go, more like Sergio Leone than like some of the American Westerns. But I like those too.
It's funny. It's like it's amazing. Are you amazed? And let me ask this to the chat too. Let's see. No, your son's saying he had a VHS of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh my God!
Until someone recorded over it.
Who? Me?
Uh-oh. Nelson, tell us more. What happened? What did he record over it?
Wait, and I wonder. I bet my son still has the VHS of Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. He probably hid that from us so we didn't throw it away. They used to watch that all the time. Oh my God!
Oh my God! I think Dad just struck back. Dad just came back. But he's let's see what he says. Let's see what movie you recorded over his Morphin Power Rangers. That's funny. Let's see. Send what to me? Send me what? Oh, this is scary. I missed out on something here. Oh boy. Let's see. I'm scared now. Let's see. When they start doing that, I get nervous.
Right.
Yeah. Rocky loves. I don't know.
Was that from Three Ninjas, Rocky?
I don't. I know. Might have been some episodes of Cops.
Cops? I don't remember recording that. Three Ninjas. So I think Hulk Hogan was in one of those movies. He was in one. Lonnie Anderson was in one.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Victor Wong was in a couple of them, I think. He was always fun.
John Hong probably wasn't too, and that guy's still kicking today.
That guy he's just got his walk, his star in the cement.
I met him in the 70s.
Oh my gosh, you did not, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. I sent a messenger to share if you want. I have let's see. Oh my God. Oh, She-Hulk. Oh, that's Anthony here. Let's see. Friday the 13th. Oh, the new a new fan club, a new fan movie. Okay. No, I would like to see that. No, I definitely would like to see. I thought you were sending me something silly. No, but if you got a new fan movie, Crystal, I definitely will watch that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would. Uh, so you were saying so also a lot of the 70 action stars were the ones you follow too.
Yeah.
You know, I saw The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Everybody's seen that movie, right?
Yeah. I watched.
But
I watched that
uh,
with my son Nelson and
you know,
my other son Harry. Yep.
I had never watched the middle of that trilogy for a few dollars more.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that movie was awesome.
It's at least as good as Good and the Bad and the Ugly. Might be a little better.
I think so too. Thank you. I
It's
think so too.
it's
I
the
thought
it's
I thought it was better than The Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
it's I think the Good and Bad and the Ugly is a little long in parts, and for a few dollars more is better paced. Yeah.
It's better paced, and that score at the end. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh.
oh, it's so haunting. It's so
Yeah.
haunting.
It's amazing. I
Uh,
saw a video years ago where a high school actually they did that at one of their concerts. They had the movie playing on a screen, but they did the music live. I was like, that's the coolest music teacher ever, right there.
that is the coolest. See, Star-Lord saying "Big Trouble in Little China." How can you go wrong with John Carpenter?
Yeah, love Carpenter.
Uh, you can't go wrong if you. Oh, this is gonna just. Oh, see, I could open up that jar. I could open up that Pandora's box, but then I just get just bummed
Oh
out.
yeah, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to admit, Carpenter had.
My favorite John Carpenter movie is Escape from New York.
Yeah, that's a great one. I
That's
mean, you
my
have to
favorite.
admit his track record is pretty darn good. You know.
It's okay. I think if he really honest with himself, and he probably would have gone back to Halloween '78 and probably just made it just a little bit better. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think it's overrated myself. I think Halloween 2 it's a much better movie, definitely more brutal. And I'm a huge fan of Halloween 3.
I like Halloween 3. Yeah.
Halloween 3.
Well, I watched it for the first time to review on my channel. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I had
good.
never seen it before. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Hi, Brene.
Now, the funny thing is, I have a memory of watching, I think it was Hollywood Squares. No, not Hollywood Squares. I forget. They would always have two celebrities facing each other. It was a game
Password.
show.
Password, I think it was.
Maybe, but Jamie Lee Curtis was on there, and they did
Oh,
the
Match Game.
thing. They did Match Game. Yeah, I think so. They did the thing in the beginning where they just talk to them, and she says, "Oh, I'm going to be in this upcoming movie called Halloween." And then before anyone could say anything, she went, "It's not a kids movie." And
Uh,
I've tried to find a clip of that on YouTube. I haven't been able to find it.
uh, uh, no, it's fine. Yeah, we're getting him there. We're doing the interview, and we're gonna push him over 100. So we're gonna kick ass on two different levels.
Yeah, hopefully my son Nelson is subbed to me. I know now Nelson just came out with a video of his own about his he moved to Los Angeles. I haven't been able to watch it yet, son, but I will. But
Okay. Was he is he going to go to school back there in Los Angeles?
no, he's out of college. He works from home, but he just wanted to change of pace. He just
Right. Well,
so after the
you-
pandemic and everything, he was like, now's the time, So that's what he wanted to do,
no, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. So I'm happy for him. Yeah. He
So
might
what other? Go ahead.
he might even run into Ariel in a Target out there. So, splash with
Yeah.
Ariel.
Yeah. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. Her.
Yeah, she's
I
great.
watch her channel. I watch her channel. Just everybody watches her channel. It's always good when she finds something that she's looking for.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
then we'll get that. Woo! I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Our girl got something good today.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are now at 103, sir. We got you set.
Awesome.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody. That's awesome.
Us small tubers. Sometimes we could do things bigger tubers can't do.
Yeah.
For sure, right?
Mhm.
So, what other channels? What other channels would you recommend besides your own? Give me a chance to put over some of your favorites.
One of my new favorites is
Tony.
Tony. Yep, Tony's great. Yep. Mama Monster, she's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mama
she's
Monster, I like that.
Mama. As a matter of fact, her name's Lydia. I just started. It occurred to me that I need to start writing these movies down, like when Jason from Horrific Nightmares, JM. I always say I'm going to remember that, but then I never do. Like he reviewed one called I think Clementina from Argentina. He said it was really good. I was like, I got to see that. But so
Luciferina.
no, I think it was called Clementina or Clementine.
Oh, Clementine. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I have a list here called Lydia's List. So she recommends Cry Wolf and Malibu Shark Attack, which
Yeah, Melody Shark Attack's awesome.
well, she said she made a video with her son who's a big shark fan. He like watches all those Discovery Channel shows about sharks.
Right.
So it was actually really cool. They were talking about like shark movies, and I guess he likes it because it has goblin sharks, which is kind of cool.
Right. It's unique.
Yeah, it's different.
I like it because Shellen Simmons is in it.
Oh, okay.
That's one of my favorite Scream Queens. So
Okay.
yeah, well, I mean, what you started reviewing for Wild Eye. How did you get involved with Wild Eye?
Basically, just I think one of the first Hobbs videos I watched, he did like he was doing like Spanish Chainsaw Massacre, I think, and I was
Really?
like, what I was like, what are these movies? What is this? And then I think he did like Swamp Head. I was like,
Yeah, he did fine.
I mean, I have to go back and watch a lot of his reviews because he's got tons of them. But
Yeah.
I think he was the one that sort of introduced me to what Wild Eye was. And then eventually I saw that, Jason and Joe were doing it and, Bronco Juggalo, and a few other people. So then I kind of got interested in some of the films, which I forget which was the one that really got me interested.
You just reviewed Velocipaster, didn't you?
The Velocipaster. Yep. Yeah, I got a physical copy of that, so I can't wait to go back and look at some of the special features.
That's my as far as the fun movies.
Yeah.
I look at there's three things about Wild Eye. There are the really bad movies like Blood Claws, and then you got the good movies like the serious movies like House on Cuckoo Lane,
okay,
or Chocolate Strawberry Vanilla. Then you got the horror comedy like the Velocipaster or Carousel. So yeah, Velocipaster is a hoot, absolute joy.
Yeah, well, that's for my review coming out tomorrow. I mentioned that. I said, like, this is pretty funny, but it's not up to the Velocipaster standards. Sadly, I don't know that there's there are going to be many that are that funny.
Yeah, I've only seen one that's been equally that fun, and that's Carousel.
Okay.
Carousel is hilarious.
Yeah. Now for Wild Eye Week, I've got 5 videos already recorded that I've got ready for Wild Eye Week.
Okay.
And, one of them is actually a documentary, which was really interesting. I found. So,
scary. Was it Scary Stories?
No, actually, I have the physical copy of that, but I couldn't when I was sick. I couldn't go downstairs and use the DVD player.
Okay.
So I was mostly watching on Tubi, which is ironic because I just gotten a box of Wild Eye movies. So I'll actually tell you what it is. It's actually The Search for Wang Wang. Wang Wang was a 2'9" person in the Philippines with dwarfism, who was a big star in the 70s. He was in these like spoofs of James Bond movies at a time when the Philippines were the second biggest movie market in the world. Back when all those like exploitation movies were being made in the Philippines, and they were copying. And
right.
Yeah, there's this guy in Australia who's like a filmmaker, big film fan, who would see, clips of this guy started to appear on YouTube, and he just got obsessed with it. So he went to the Philippines to find out like who is the guy and what happened to him, and it's really interesting.
I'm going to be reviewing a movie just like that. I'm interviewing him actually. It's a director named Joel Connell. He's directing a movie called Bob and Rondo. It was about the art designer for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and he was obsessed with finding out about Rondo Hatton.
Yeah.
So he That's what the movie was. He's gonna find. He's filming their story. He-
Okay.
yeah. So I that's gonna be really fun because a lot of people I saw that and I'm like that's the originator of the Rondo Awards.
Yeah, the Rondo Awards. Yeah, Dr. Gangrene wins. He wins those like almost every year for his writing in I think Scary Monsters magazine. Yeah, he's got a bunch of them, and he's also a big Rondo fan, so that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, he had acromegaly. It was his
Yeah.
pituitary condition.
Yeah.
I learned about that because my wife, she had a pit tumor. She had a prolactinoma. So I got
Oh
to know
no.
all about, I got to learn all about pit tumors. And that was one of them. Like there's Cushing's disease and then acromegaly. It's just, they're all pituitary conditions.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Now they're saying, yep, okay. The guy says the plane. No, that
No.
was her Velasquez. That's the guy. Yeah. Well, no, he had a sad story too, though.
Yeah.
He had a very sad
I just
story.
watched a YouTube video about like what happened to him. He kind of like spiraled out of control, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He just couldn't. They made a movie about him called My Dinner with Hervé, and it was with Peter Dinklage. He played him,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
that was a really good movie. Really insightful, actually.
Hmm.
Um, are you a big documentary fan?
Yeah, I like documentaries. Yeah. I mean, probably not as much as I used to. But if it's yeah, like 'cause I like some weird things. Like I had this one about bog people I used to watch all the time. My kids were like, "Dad, what is with you and these bog people?" You know, these mummies that are found in like the peat swamps in like Scotland. You know, they're like perfectly preserved.
Bog
And I,
people. That
yeah,
sounds pretty similar to Boglands.
yeah. Well, I'm like, there's a horror movie right there because
We're gonna hear about that right in the chat right now. We're
yeah.
gonna hear people start screaming Boglands.
But
Uh,
somebody needs to make a movie about bog people because there've actually been trees that have blown over, and on
okay.
the underside of the trees is like a perfectly preserved person
Oh, that's
because of the
cool.
peat moss preserves them. It's like crazy.
Uh, Mr. Dan, if you could have lunch with any actor or actress, alive or dead, well, they have to be alive when you have lunch with them. Who would you be and why?
That's a good question, Phil. Wow. I don't know. I think
You get one each. You get one actor and you get one
oh,
actor.
okay. I guess I'll go with Rutger Hauer for the male.
Okay.
Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, and I'm just fascinated with that and how he got to write his dialogue there at the end.
Sean saying now pay us for subscribing. You have to understand about Sean. He's from Philadelphia. He's a Phillies fan.
Oh,
He's slightly weird anyway. They're
okay. Yeah, he's across the river from me. My parents used to drag me to Phillies games when I was a kid. You know,
yeah, I
I
like that.
would.
You had to be drove. They had to drag you to watch them.
Yeah,
I think
I would
isn't
rather
that
stay home
pretty
and
how
watch
it is
horror
anyway?
movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
but for wow, I don't know. Maybe God, for a while. I mean, there was a long time there. I probably would have said Sean Young, but now I kind of know more about her now. She's nuts.
Oh, he's
she's not.
crazy.
She's not nuts, but apparently she's a little difficult. I don't know.
A little, yeah.
Yeah,
She's got a really nasty reputation.
yeah.
I think she's like Amber Heard before Amber Heard.
Right. Wow, that's a tough one. I don't know. I'll just pick somebody. Maybe Jenny Allgutter. I always liked her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You can't go wrong with that.
yeah.
How about you, Phil?
Yeah.
Phil probably want to go out. He probably had lunch with the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, and I don't know who he picked for the girl, but I definitely know for the guy it would be the Marshmallow Man from say the Safe Buff Man from the from Ghostbusters.
Mm-hmm.
That's Star Lord says Josh Brolin would be he would like to, Josh Brolin would be his choice. That's a fun question. That
Yeah,
definitely is a fun
yeah,
question.
yeah.
So what do you got going on for the future for your channel? You got any new you got anything cooking that we should know about? Any new series? Any new guest appearances?
Yeah, nothing that I've set in stone. I have some ideas for some guests. I do want to get into like anthology shows, definitely. I know you're a fan of the Outer Limits.
Hell yeah, I'm a fan of the Outer Limits remake.
So am I. Yeah, and actually,
I'm huge. That's I know. I was really nervous to say this around Anthony, because he's our Twilight Zone guy.
yeah,
But I told him, I says, I got to be honest with you, as much as I love the Twilight Zone, and I do, but that Outer Limits remake, that was my shit right
yeah.
there.
That was
So
I
many
used to watch that. I forget what day of the week, but I used to watch that. And I think I mentioned this to you before in the chat. There was one episode where they had like an android in the house, and somebody else was also an android, and my daughter guessed it before I did. And I was like, no, no, that couldn't be. And there was a twist ending, and she was right. And I was like, oh my God. And you have to understand, she was like 13. I mean,
Wow.
she guessed it before I did. Boy, she didn't let me forget that for a long time.
See, he wants to hang out with Sean. Wants to hang out with the ghost bum from Ghost. Oh, right, right, yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, Sean, but he had Cushing's disease. Vincent Schiavelli, he had Cushing's disease.
Oh, Vincent
Yeah,
Schiavelli,
I think
did
he
he?
had
Oh,
Cushing's,
okay.
or actually, he might have had Agromally too. I think he had Agromally too. But
Okay.
he had a quick condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the yeah. That's interesting. You said that. Uh, Phil says Vincent Price and Sigourney Weaver.
Oh, yeah. Sigourney
Yep,
Weaver's way up there too. Yeah. Actually, and
definitely.
like, yeah, somebody like Boris Karloff, that would be fascinating. I mean, my gosh, you know.
It'd be so hard to just have dinner with just one person.
Right. Yeah.
You like to sit there and have like, well, can I have five apiece? Can we have like a smorgasbord? I mean, uh, let's see. X told me that Sigourney Weaver was snooty, while Jamie Lee was cool people.
Interesting.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver came from privilege.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She came from privilege.
Hmm.
I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis. Her mom was really famous too, but
Oh, yeah.
I think she had to work harder than Sigourney Weaver did.
Hmm.
Let's see. I saw him. Let's see who's Star Lord mentioning. Who is Star Lord mentioning? I'm sorry, I missed that. Now they're mentioning all people they've met. Oh, it's Josh Brolin. So he had. Yeah. I interviewed his stepdaughter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So she's Eleanor, really nice
Okay.
lady. Yeah. Uh, you saw him eating hot, spicy wings and insulting Ryan Reynolds. Well, you know what? I really enjoyed this. I hope you had a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
we could probably keep going for another 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah. Heck
I
yeah.
know you definitely got things to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was really perplexed by that. I wanted to touch bases with you on that about what happened to the Halloween Queen, because I was just well, that'd be a perfect subject to talk with you about.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny because that, like I said, that's kind of what a list of black horror movies is what led me to this whole community.
Yeah.
Strange, it's funny that way.
Let's see. My phone is acting going goofy right now. There we go. Oh, what the hell? Hold on. I have no idea what just happened.
Well, we can
All
hear you,
right.
but we can't see you.
Okay, good. It just went crazy. There you go. Okay. Yeah, sometimes it does that.
Mhm.
Well, we'll stay in touch for sure. I
Yeah.
want to, definitely. Hopefully, we'll have something fun. We'll have you come on and do a guest host or something on Midnight Society or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I really think you're a good guest, and I've seen you on other panels. And I'm thinking, we need to get him exposed more, because you have a lot of interesting things to say, and I really enjoy your channel. I enjoy the fact you embrace the community. I like the fact that you the Dollar Tree Theater, and now you're doing a Wild Eye. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's sort of building community, and you're very supportive of a lot of people, which is another reason why I really wanted to talk to you
Yeah.
and help
No.
you, because I really appreciate that. It's something that's really overlooked here. Sometimes, the support that, you look at someone's channel, maybe they don't have a whole lot, maybe they only have like under 100, but you know
Right.
what? But yet they're the ones always there during
Yeah.
your stream, when you're
Yeah.
a big channel. But if you notice that, they're always there for you,
Mhm.
How many
Right.
times have you been over on their channel when they've done a live,
Yeah.
Or, you sit there with, 3,000-4,000 people, you don't even think about it,
Right.
like,
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna go hang out with, I'm gonna go, that's one of the things what I really like about Jim and Phil and Hobbs. They're pretty big channels to us,
Yeah.
but they're always there
Oh
constantly,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
everybody, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. I know. Like Hobbs will good. Like he might not watch one of my videos for like a week after it's been out, but he gets caught up. Like all of a sudden I'll see comments on my
Yeah,
video. He always does that. And like people like obviously like Eric, he's a great, just all around guy in the community. And also Karen from Ocean Chicks. I did a stream with her. She's great.
yeah, yeah. They all support each other, and I think that's really important.
Mhm.
I really do. Um, I want to thank you again. I want to thank the guys in the chat. You know what? Let me ask them real quick. I keep on pushing this off, but let me ask them because I didn't, and I should have. Would be remiss of me. But Phil already he started the ball rolling. But do you guys have any questions for Mr. Dan? How did you get your channel name?
My other channel name is Mr. Dan and Harry. This is my son's name.
Okay.
And I was actually like chatting with Knight from Night Watch Zone, and I had mentioned before I might start a channel, and he was like, "Oh, you should definitely do that." And then he actually just asked me, he said, "What's it going to be called?" So I just made it up on the spot right there. I said, "Mr. Dan and horror."
Okay. All right. There you go.
Yeah, and the
Nelson's very proud of you.
oh, thanks,
Al saying
thanks,
Hobbs is the
son.
man. Hobbs is
Thanks.
definitely the man. Do you guys have some questions to ask Dan before we let him go?
Yeah, and the Mr. Dan, by the way, comes from I used to teach preschool and kindergarten, and that's what the kids called me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I actually couldn't get away from that. Like I would see people around town, and they would call me Mr. Dan. And actually, like when my son Nelson was on the soccer team, there were parents from the school who also had their kids on the soccer teams, and they were calling me Mr. Dan on the sidelines. And then eventually, I just embraced it, and I
Right.
actually had like a little tutoring business for a while. It was Mr. Dan's tutoring.
That's
So
cool.
yeah,
Anybody ever call you Lieutenant Dan?
actually, to be honest, I actually was a Lieutenant Dan at one point. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was
There,
actually when that movie came out, I was a Lieutenant Dan.
really? Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I was
How,
actually, I was in the National Guard at the time. Yeah.
okay. You ever seen Southern Comfort?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh, that's on YouTube. Yeah.
That's an awesome movie.
What a cast in that. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yes.
I mean, you got two Curly Bill Brociouses in that movie. You you got Powers Booth, and then you have the guy that played him in the Wyatt Earp movie, Lewis Smith.
You have David Carradine. Keith Carradine.
Keith.
Keith Carradine.
Yep.
Alan Altree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. That was a spooky ass movie.
Oh yeah. Brian James is one of the Cajun guys, and
Great.
even Sonny Landham from Predator. He's one of the Cajun guys. You don't really see his face too clearly, but he's in there. Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. I think some questions here. Let's see. Do you know how a creature walks among us? Get some clothes. Any other? Let's see. Let's see. Let me see if I can read this right. Do you know how in Creature Walks Among Us? Oh, he gets some clothes. Any other monsters you think would have been fun if they come up with people?
Well, actually, the funny thing is, in the third Fly movie of the original series, Curse of the Fly, they don't really turn into fly hybrids. They turn into these creatures, and actually, I think they're wearing clothes in that one. And that's kind of interesting because that's kind of like the creature walks among us because, this is like a Dr. Gangrene rule I'm borrowing. He says in the third sequel, you got to you got to do something different. So,
right.
Yeah. But
third time's the charm.
yeah. So yeah, the creature, Yeah, that was The Creature Walks Among Us. That I got to rewatch that, but that was like kind of interesting because it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of messed up. They first they went into his like territory in the first two movies, then they captured him, and then in the third one they do experiments on him. It's really kind of messed up.
It is.
Yeah, but
50
that's
movies
what I,
were 50 movies in the early 60 movies were somewhat brutal sometimes.
yeah, and that's one of the reasons why that one is a better movie than I think people have realized over time that it's a pretty good movie. I
Oh,
asked my son. I
the
said,
fly is terrifying.
yeah, I said to my
Absolutely
son,
positive.
I said, who's the bad guy in this, son? He was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there is a bad guy who's just it's like in the fly.
Yeah,
Jeff
right.
Goldblum, he wasn't a bad guy. He just
Mhm.
it was an accident.
Yes,
It just he wasn't. Even though he acted the way he did, that was because of the recombined DNA
yeah,
and whatnot. But he wasn't a bad person.
right.
He was just acting. No, it's science gone bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. Let me see. He says maybe Bigfoot in overalls or something, or street clothes like Bigfoot versus zombie. Uh,
Yeah, why not?
why is Igor your favorite Universal monster? Great question.
Hold
Great
on.
question.
Oh, it's right here. Well, I don't know if he's my favorite, but I put this on Instagram. I know Al liked it, and I said to Al, I said it's time that he becomes an official monster. You think about the amount of screen time that he had in two movies versus like The Bride, and I love The Bride, but she's only in Bride of Frankenstein very briefly. Whereas Igor, I mean, first of all, you can make an argument that that's it's either that or Dracula. That's like, you know what I mean, for Bela Lugosi in terms of
Right.
performances. I mean, it's really is a great character. So I
Are,
think he
are
should
you more of a werewolf guy or a vampire?
probably more of a werewolf guy.
Sorry, Al. Sorry, sorry,
But I'll
buddy.
tell you, I do like.
I asked. I asked. So there you
But
go.
speaking of Alucard, I actually do like what is it? Son of the one with Lon Chaney Jr., where he plays the Alucard. You know, I
You know
actually
what I
do
thought?
like that movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
you got the werewolf or the wolf man playing Dracula's son in that. It's kind of funny.
it gets sort of confusing after a while.
It does. Yeah,
Uh,
when you consider that Lugosi and Chaney Jr. also played Frankenstein's monster at some point.
I got to go back and get all those Universal monsters.
Yeah.
I told this the other day. I think I said this when we were interviewing Waffles. Like every Halloween, they always come up with all the Universal monsters on sale at the DVDs for $5
Yeah.
at my local store, and I always passed them by. I've never done anything about it. I'm going like I'll make to myself. I'm going like this year if they come out with those, I'm going to get every one that I see.
Right.
So because I don't have any. I
Right.
don't. I don't have a single Universal monster.
Oh no.
I,
Okay.
I think I have. I think I have King Kong 33 in a multi pack.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, not good.
Son
I,
of
I,
Dracula. Yes, Al. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
I think my fanboy card might be in danger. Might be. I don't know. I mean, you ever heard that term fanboy card? If you
Yeah.
don't know something or have something in a
Right.
collection.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean you don't own that? You're gonna get your card revoked.
Right. Right.
I'm always in danger of that. Let's see. Al threw up bats because he's vampire. Let's see. See, Sean Stevens here from the House of Horrors podcast. Hey, Steven, thank you for coming in. Let's see. Let's see.
Also, hi, Katie. Popping the popcorn. Hi.
Yep, Katie. Yep, she's been hanging out with us. Wow, I'm so God. All right. Well, thank you guys for your questions. Thank you again, Dan, for coming up, being our guest. I really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you.
Before I let you guys go, I got to break the calendar up because I didn't do that beforehand. I'll do that now. So tomorrow night we don't have a show. Tomorrow night we don't. Our guest had to cancel, so we are going to be dark tomorrow night. But we have a show at 1:30 though. We at 1:30 we will be interviewing our mutual sisters, our spiritual sisters, There could be Sanderson sisters. I don't know, or cousins. But that would be Jamie and Crystal. They'll be here at 1:30. They're two very nice ladies. They're very supportive, and they do a lot for a lot of people. And we'll have them on the show tomorrow at 1:30. And then on the 19th, we will be having David from David's Horror and from the Coast to Coast guys. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to him. That's going to be a lot of fun. And he'll be here on Thursday, on the 19th at 8 o'clock. And then next Sunday night at 9 p.m., we're all running over to Al's channel to watch Freddy versus Jason on the Midnight Society. That's right. We're covering the Freddy versus Jason on the 22nd. And then on Tuesday, the 24th, we have a singer-songwriter, Emotion, will be here. And he'll be talking about his musical career. He'll play some tunes. And we'll talk about how hard it is to write songs. And he's got a really beautiful voice, so that'll be a good show, too. And then we have actor Richard Scott and screenwriter. Let's see. I'm trying to rush this. Actor, screenwriter Richard Scott will be here. We'll be talking to him about his career, and his screenplay that he wrote called Rose in Paradise has won many awards and is now in pre-production to be made into his very first feature film. So we'll be talking to him on the 25th. And then on the 26th of May, we have Sean from Lost in the Reel and the Cinema Squad. He's going to be here on the 26th of May, and that will be a lot of fun as well. As we, he knows a lot about movies. I really enjoyed listening to him. He's only going to be the second professional critic I've had on the show. So I really do respect him, and he works very hard at what he does. And we'll be talking to him about films and probably about the state of franchises versus indie films. I think that's one of the reasons why our theaters are in danger of dying out, because we have no variety. It's either you watch this or you don't, or you go home. And theaters wonder why they're in such danger. That's why. Because you could have Doctor Strange on 70 screens, but you're not going to get people like me to come over and watch them. And then on the 27th of May, we have the cast of St. Mary's, the School for Girls with the Stigmata. It is a radio drama cast. So that I have never done anything like that before. I listened to radio shows growing up.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like I booked these guys, Laura Hunter Drago and Samantha Mocker. They were on the show again, and they did this one here. And I guess I put that on my Instagram that I'm going to be covering them here. And then I got sent a request to follow another show like that. It's a World War II show called Snafu Land.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm thinking, oh, well, I want to go watch that. I'm going to go listen to that. It's a podcast drama about World War II. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Also on the 27th at 3:30 p.m. we have Joe O'Connell, and he'll be here with us, and we'll talk about Rondo and Bob. All right, that's it for right now. Thank you guys so much. That's right, Freddy versus Jason this Sunday at 9 p.m. Al Lucar's channel. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 Eastern time for Jamie and Crystal. Thanks again, you guys. Stay right where you're at. Dan, I'm getting tired. Thanks so much. Peace.